Good morning, guys. Hope you had a wonderful weekend. We are picking back up here with Luke. Our bathroom is positioned directly across the hall from our classroom. Who cares, right? I'd never thought anything of it until the day I felt trapped out there. I saw the shakedown. All compliments of Peter. I was in the classroom working on my holiday center. All my materials were spread out on the floor, and I was busy calculating the proper dimensions for my game board. Mr. Terupt was on the other side of the room checking in with a different group. I didn't notice Peter. I stretched out on my belly and worked the math. The soles of my sneaks pointed up, a great invitation for mess around Peter. I never felt a thing. He's definitely sneaky. I sometimes wonder what's the likelihood, another dollar word, Peter would grow up to be a world-famous thief. I had no clue anything was even happening until I heard the giggling, and Peter said, "Hey, Luke, what kinds of sneaks are those? Elmers?" I popped my head up. "What are you talking about?" "Better be careful. If you try to go anywhere in those, you might get stuck." I looked back at my feet. I'm sure you guys are thinking the same thing I'm thinking. Glue all over the bottom. Let's see if we're right. Okay. Mess around Peter had struck. The bottoms of my sneakers were completely covered in Elmer's glue. "You jerk," I said, without any real authority. Truth is, I didn't really care. It wasn't worth getting upset over. Besides, I'm sort of used to Peter's antics. A good word. I wonder what antics means. I'm sort of used to Peter's antics. I bet that means his jokes, his pranks. I thought they were always harmless. I untied my shoes, placed them next to me, bottoms up, of course, until I finished my math. Peter's victory celebration was cut short by my easy solution. Maybe I don't get upset with Peter because I know I'll always outwit him. This drives him nuts, and I love it. What does it mean to outwit somebody? He doesn't get upset with Peter because he knows he'll outwit him. What do we know about Luke? And what do we know about Peter? See, Luke is the brainiac, really smart and clever. Peter's the jokester, the clown, always trying to have fun probably and not necessarily focus as much on his work. So if Luke always knows he'll outwit him, I'm thinking he knows he's smarter than him and he can kind of use his brains to be one step ahead of Peter, outsmart him. Once I finished my calculations, I grabbed my sneakers and headed to the bathroom. Mr. Terupt was still busy with a different group, so he didn't see any of Peter's shenanigans, or me leaving the classroom. I held my shoes under the sink and washed off the glue. Then I wiped the soles dry with a paper towel, and I put my sneakers back on. I pushed the bathroom door open and quickly jumped back inside. I was trapped. Mr. Terupt was having a conference with someone out in the hall. I pushed the door open just a crack to see who it was. "You've done it your way," he said. Mr. Terupt had his back to me. He was leaning forward, talking to the person straight against the wall. "Now you'll do it my way." He straightened up and folded his arms. He meant business. And that was when I saw who it was. Black and purple streaks covered her cheeks, a combination of her makeup and tears. Alexia, crying? I had never seen or heard of Alexia crying before. "I like you, Lexi. I want some of your classmates to like you too. I'm trying to help. I want you to be friendlier. I will not tolerate your meanness anymore." Sound familiar? Not me being mean. Me being Mr. Terupt. No meanness in our classrooms. Wow, was this really going to work? "Go into the bathroom and wash your face. Come back when you're ready. Is there anything you want to say before I go back in?" Alexia stormed past Mr. Terupt without looking at him and without saying a word. Mr. Terupt let out a big sigh and shook his head. Then he walked back into the classroom. I wonder what he was thinking. I decided not to say anything about my sneakers. It didn't seem important to say anything. Oh no, it didn't seem important. Mr. Terupt had more serious matters on his plate, like discipline. Dollar word. I waited a few minutes before following Mr. Terupt into the classroom. I didn't want it to seem obvious that I'd been eavesdropping, but I was eager to tell somebody about what I had just seen. That's why I think I walked into the classroom a little rushed and wasn't really paying attention. This would be a good example of foreshadowing, guys. Foreshadowing is when the author is leading us to understand something is about to happen. So when he says, that's why I think I walked into the classroom a little rushed and wasn't really paying attention, we can automatically assume something is about to happen. Either bad or funny or but something. Even if I had been, it probably would have happened. I barely walked through the door before I stepped in a puddle of water. My feet went up and my arms flew out. I flailed, like flip-flopping like a fish, like an ostrich trying to catch its balance. Somehow I managed to stay upright after sliding across the linoleum floor to the carpet. Mr. Terupt was having a serious conversation with Jessica, Danielle, Jeffrey, and Anna, so he didn't see any of it. That's right, guess who did? Peter! Peter, Ben, and Nick, and some of the other guys rolled around in hysterics. I knew what they had done. Or should I say, what Peter had done. He likes to put his thumb over the opening of a drinking fountain being a dollar word, and push the button. So he's got his thumb over the spigot part. He's pushing the button. What's the water going to do? What does it do when you put your thumb over a water hose? That's right, spray everywhere. It's another one of his infamous stunts. Ooh, that was a vocabulary word from last week. Infamous stunts. This one makes the water shoot all the way to the door. That was how the puddle miraculously appeared on the floor. Whether Peter meant to have water on the floor or if it just ended up there after he sprayed someone else, I don't know. Either way, it doesn't matter. I don't have time to do anything about it because someone else came through the door just after me. She must have been making her rounds going from class to class just to visit a few minutes. Today was her unlucky day. Who do you think that is? Who makes her round every once in a while, class to class, to see what's going on? Oh yeah, the principal. Miss Williams took one step into our classroom and hit the water. I felt sorry for her. She was wearing a navy blue suit, a jacket and skirt, with high heels. She wasn't able to keep her balance. Her foot shot way out to the side as soon as it touched the puddle. I thought she was going to do a split, but then her other foot touched the water and slid forward. Miss Williams fell backwards with her arms grabbing empty air. She landed smack on her back right in the water with her legs stuck up in the air. That is when I saw my principal's underwear. I couldn't believe it. I knew I shouldn't keep staring, but I couldn't look away. We all gawked at her multicolored flower underwear. And that's not the best of it, or the worst of it, if you're Miss Williams. Her underwear was a bit discombobulated. In other words, she had a wedgie. It was unbelievable. I'll never forget it, not as long as I live. I swear it. It was the day I saw my principal's underwear, and more. Mr. Terupt rushed over to help her. The rest of us fought to keep from laughing. It was our principal, after all. Even Peter wasn't snickering. He actually looked nervous. Miss Williams, are you okay? Mr. Terupt said, helping her to her feet. Peter, get some towels to wipe this water up. Why did he pick Peter? Because he knew it was Peter's antics that led the water to being on the floor. I'm sure it was his way of letting Peter know he knew. I'm okay, Miss Williams said, brushing herself off and smoothing out her clothes. Sorry for the interruption. She turned and left. How embarrassing. As soon as the door closed behind her, the laughter and the whispers started. Clearly, this can't happen again, Mr. Terupt said. We're lucky Miss Williams didn't get hurt, or that someone else didn't either. I expect we won't have water pooled on the floor like that again. Mr. Terupt looked directly at Peter. After saying this, yep, he knew. He shook his head and then walked over to his desk. I thought for sure this event would be unequaled, dollar word, by another for the rest of the year. It would not be unequaled. Hold on. I thought for sure this event would be unequaled by any other for the rest of the year. So this event is unequal to any other event. Is there any other event that will be as good or better than this event? No way, Jose. Little did I know that something much bigger was coming our way. Ooh, what a cliffhanger. I'm going to say goodbye until class later and leave you wondering what's coming up that could be better than seeing Miss Williams' flowered-colored panties in her wedgie. I don't know. No question for today. Have a beautiful Monday. See y'all later.